I don't ride elevators alone anymore, not after what happened that night. And if you ever find yourself in an old building late at night and the elevator stops on a floor that doesn't exist, for God's sake, don't look. It was 2:47 a.m. when I got back to my apartment building. I'd been working late at the office, finishing a project that no one else wanted to touch. The rain had soaked through my jacket during the walk from the subway, and all I wanted was my bed. My building is old, 17 stories, built in the 1920s. The lobby has those ancient brass elevators with the folding metal gates instead of automatic doors. Most residents hated them, but I'd always found them charming. That night, I just wanted to get upstairs quickly. I pulled open the gate, stepped inside, and pressed 14, my floor. The elevator groaned and began its slow ascent. The lighting inside flickered. It always did, nothing unusual. We passed floor 3, floor 4, floor 5. The rain drummed against the building's exterior. I checked my phone, no messages. Floor 7, floor 8, floor 9. That's when I noticed the humming had changed. Deeper, almost like a growl. Floor 10, floor 11, floor 12. Then, nothing. The elevator kept moving upward. I felt it in my stomach, that rising sensation, but the floor indicator stayed on 12. We should have stopped at 14. The numbers didn't change. Floor 12, still floor 12. The elevator kept climbing. 1 second passed, 5 seconds, 10. Finally, the car lurched to a stop. The floor indicator flickered wildly, then settled on a number that made my blood run cold. 13. But our building only had 17 floors, and floor 13 had never existed. Everyone knew that. Older buildings sometimes skip the number, call it 14 instead. Superstition. Floor 13 was just missing. The elevator doors didn't open automatically. They just sat there, closed, while the car hummed softly. I pressed the button for 14 again. Nothing. I pressed the door open button. Nothing. I pressed the emergency stop, the alarm, every button on the panel. The elevator didn't respond. Then, slowly, the gate began to slide open on its own. I should have closed my eyes. I should have kept pressing buttons, but I looked. The hallway beyond was dark, not just unlit, but absolutely black, like light itself couldn't exist there. And from that darkness, a smell drifted in. Old, decaying, like something had died a long time ago and never stopped dying. I pulled at the gate, trying to force it closed. It wouldn't budge. Then I heard the footsteps. Slow, deliberate, coming from the darkness. Each step echoed in that impossible hallway, growing closer. I pressed myself against the back wall of the elevator, holding my breath. The footsteps stopped, right outside the doors. I could feel something looking at me, something standing in that absolute blackness, only inches away. For a long moment, nothing happened. I stared into the darkness, seeing nothing, feeling everything. Then, a hand reached through the doorway. It wasn't a normal hand, too long, too pale, the fingers bent at angles that shouldn't be possible. It gripped the edge of the elevator door, and I heard a wet, sucking sound as something pulled itself closer. I screamed. I couldn't help it. I screamed and pressed myself so hard against the wall I thought I'd fall through it. The thing paused. Then, from the darkness, a voice whispered my name. Not just my name, my full name, the name only my mother used. Marcus, it whispered. We've been waiting. The elevator lurched violently. The lights flickered and died completely. I felt the car drop, fast, my stomach rising into my throat. Then everything stopped. The lights came back on. The gate was closed. The floor indicator read lobby. I slammed the door open and ran. I didn't stop running until I was in my apartment with all the locks engaged and every light burning. I didn't sleep that night. I sat against my front door, staring at the peephole, waiting for dawn. The next morning, I told the super about the elevator. He looked at me strangely and said maintenance had checked everything yesterday. Nothing was wrong. And by the way, he added, floor 13 had never existed. Not in this building. Not ever. I wanted to believe him. I almost did. But that night, when I came home late again, I took the stairs. 17 flights. My legs burned by the time I reached my floor. As I unlocked my door, keys shaking in my hand, I heard it. From somewhere below me, in the stairwell, a sound drifted up through the concrete. The soft ding of an elevator, and the slow, grinding sound of gates sliding open. I never used that elevator again. I moved out 3 months later,
Told myself it was just an old building with old wiring and an overactive imagination. But sometimes, late at night, when I'm alone in my new apartment, I hear that whisper again. Marcus, we've been waiting. And I wonder what's still waiting there on floor 13 in a building that never had one. Fact or fiction?